we borrowed a little bit of money to buy this place. And at that time, like my dad hates going into debt. My dad's not the type of person to go into debt, but he knew like he had no choice. And at that time, I knew I was like, okay, this is the time. Our rent's not that much. I got to give it my all, and like this is what happened. So like we got the restaurant, man. It was successful, very successful for like 2 years, and the restaurant burned down.
Fuck.
What's up, everybody? This is the Untapped Potential Podcast, where we interview local visionaries. And today we're tapping in with Tobi, a restaurant owner and rap artist out of Seattle, Washington. What's going on, Tobi? Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you guys. Pleasure being here.
Thank you for joining us on our special Christmas episode. That's why we're wearing this funny hat.
Yeah, that's right. I almost forgot. I got a Santa hat on.
Love it. I need one too.
Yeah. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Cool. It's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
No, it was great connecting with you, via social media. I saw your account. You're obviously making moves with your music. You got great visuals on YouTube, which we'll get to. And, you're obviously making moves with your restaurant, Afghan Cuisine, out of Bellevue, and also expanding pretty soon here in Kent. Yeah, I think by the time this episode drops, though, you mentioned that you guys might have the Kent location open already too,
definitely,
right?
Definitely. As I mentioned earlier, it's a hard time for everybody, for a lot of businesses right now.
Right.
Finding employees and after the pandemic, it's been hard to adjust. So we're trying to adjust and get back into work. So hopefully by December we'll try to get open.
Yeah,
that's a goal. That's a goal.
Cool. Yeah. So before we dive into what you're doing now, let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about Tobi, like where you originate from, and
cool.
Your upbringing story.
Cool, man. So originally my family is from Afghanistan. I've never been to Afghanistan. I know there's been a lot of stuff people have been hearing about
in the
news, and the takeover and all that crap. But honestly, I just wish everybody down there, first of all, peace, and I hope everybody who's going through anything in life, just wish them the best of success. And so my family originated from Afghanistan. My dad was a refugee, actually. So so this whole thing that's going on is a very deep subject.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't experience it, my father went through the whole thing. So watching the news and seeing it, started to drastically like change conversations really quick.
No.
I just wanted to tap into this. So my dad, grew up in Afghanistan. Left the country when he was like 7. Russians invaded, and ever since then, this whole refugee thing has been a very sensitive topic for him. Every time he sees it on TV, it's like I can see his emotions. Running.
It triggers him. Yeah,
exactly. So that's my background. I was born in Germany though. When my dad left Afghanistan, that's as a refugee he was there, and that's where I was born in Germany.
Okay.
And we made it to California after that. I lived in California for a long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how old were you when you moved to California?
I was about 7 years old, actually.
Oh wow!
Okay.
So you were old enough to learn German in Germany while you were there, right?
Yeah, German was like my first language, actually.
Oh wow!
Speak it?
I don't speak it at all. But can you believe that was like my first language I ever learned? So like I used to speak it like I speak English now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So everyone used to tell me like, hey, you should go back and like maybe you'll learn and pick it up. But I've tried. And it's like a foreign language to me now.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's tough.
Without the practice, I mean, you just gotta. It's almost like again learning a new language because you completely forget it.
Right. 100%. 100%.
No, that's a powerful story though. So you grew up. Your father was a refugee from Afghanistan, grew up in Germany, and then you ended up in California. What part of California did you grow up at?
I grew up in the Bay Area.
The Bay.
Yeah, Fremont. A lot of Afghans who are watching this right now. There's probably a lot of Afghans in Fremont. So shout out to all the Afghans in Fremont.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's what's up. What was that like growing up there in Fremont?
Very diverse. Very diverse. Honestly, loved it. Loved growing up there. People were cool. Like I never dealt with any bullshit. To be honest. It was always, So my dad was a single dad too. So I have no brothers, no sisters. Gotcha. So I came to a country where like I spoke no English, and I was just like, damn, like this is crazy. This is a new life, Seeing my dad like struggle, work. So Fremont was a place like that was a place where we established ourselves.
Gotcha.
We were like, okay, this is where Safeway is. Okay, this is where my school is. This is what I got to do. So.
Gotcha. But you mentioned you had a community there. There's a lot of Afghans there.
There was. I played soccer down there, so there was like a community down there that I had.
Okay.
And we kept in touch, but I didn't have any like immediate family members down there or anything.
Yeah.
which was a little tough.
When you went to San Francisco, or when your dad made the decision to go to San Francisco, was it because he knew that there was a community of Afghans there that he can raise you along with?
My dad's main goal was to give me a better life, and if whatever that seemed in his head, whatever that vision was, that he made a point. He made a decision to move down there, and I have no idea if it was because of the Afghans, but it was more of a job opportunity.
Gotcha.
To feed his son. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And did your dad, was that the industry he went into first? Was like the restaurant industry, or was he working at something else at first?
So believe it or not, my dad doesn't have a passion for the restaurant industry as much as I do.
Oh,
so my dad got into the restaurant industry because he had to get into it. He was okay. I have his son. There's no one else to support him. I gotta do something. So he worked his way up, washing dishes, and all that stuff. And so it was never a passion for him. It was more like, okay, I need to bring bread to the table.
Yeah, I hear you.
And the passion came into it when I started getting into it and started seeing everything and how it unfolded and stuff.
Okay, I hear you. What was school like for you?
Man, I loved the experience, but I hated school. Like I hated turning in assignments and reading and all that stuff. Even though I knew I had to do it. Like I knew, I was like, shit, like my dad's gonna get pissed at me if I don't do this. But I never felt like, oh, I need to like really go to school because I need to really learn something and be something. It was more of like fear. Like, oh shit, I need to get my grades up because of like, But school was I love high school, man. High school was a place where like you gain experiences, you learn from right or wrong. You learn from a lot of shit. So
Did you do college? Did you go to
I did.
college?
I did something called Running Start.
Oh, yeah, I know Running Start.
So I just said like, oh, I hate school and all that stuff. So everyone's like, oh, you do Running Start. No, but Running Start, I did it to get away from high school. So I can just get out and go do my own thing. And fortunately, I graduated high school and I got my AA at the same time.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that was the highest level of education I've done though. So.
That's what's up. It sounds like you kind of grew up fast though, based on how you talk about high school. Because I kind of relate to you. Like you just wanted to get out of that mentality, like that small-minded, like these are the best years of my life. It's like, no, it's not. It's high school. Like,
right.
Let's get out of here.
Right. Yeah. I traveled a lot beforehand, like just because of life circumstances. I had to move everywhere. So I kind of grew up very fast, like you said. I had to see things and adjust. And my dad was always like, bro, you gotta like just because you're 6 doesn't mean you're 6. You gotta act like you're 12, because this is how life is right now. Like I gotta go to work and you gotta stay here, and you gotta like make sure no one. You gotta feed yourself. You gotta learn how to do this and that. And like, thankfully, it taught me a lot. So
damn, man.
No, that's cool.
So, like, how was music introduced to you then throughout this whole process? Because it sounds like you didn't have a lot of access to different resources. You're constantly moving. Like, how was music introduced to you?
So, thankfully, when I was growing up, the YouTube platform was just, coming apart. I remember having one of those big fat computers and like I was getting
big old
pissed,
desktops.
Like, how come YouTube's not working on this? Quality being so bad. But, like, thank God for YouTube, because YouTube was one of those, like, ever since I was 6 years old, I knew that like there was something, that I had something else, whether it was music or, acting. Those two were things that like I always knew I had a passion for. And music was one thing where like I knew I wasn't like a great singer. I knew I wasn't, but I knew I knew there was something that like I could do that people would listen to.
Right.
And just throughout time and year and just finding my voice, slowly just putting stuff out there, not being shy and being like, because being Afghan, first of all, being Afghan is very like, okay, the culture is very like, oh shit, like people are gonna talk, people are gonna say this and that, so I had to completely like zone out and be like, no, I'm gonna do my thing and like focus on me, and I don't care what people are gonna say here, because people are gonna talk whether you do good or bad in life. That's how people.
Right, that's facts.
Do you feel like it's a really judgmental culture, and that you feel embarrassed if you kind of reveal your true self or things that you like with music?
I guess, yeah. I mean, definitely, you can say that. I never wanted to affect my culture, my people look at me, but that was in the past though. Now I'm just like, life's too short, life's way too short. I've lost so many people this year, that like so many people close to me, and I just opened my eyes up. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna follow my dreams, I'm gonna follow my passion, and like it's made me happier, man. It just made me a lot happier. A lot of people think that like I'm just doing this because like I want the attention, I want this or that. No, man. Like you go home and like this is what makes you happy at the end of the day. That's it. I don't care about anything else.
Right.
If someone loves it, they love it. And then If they don't like it, they don't like it. There's a dislike button, you know?
Right.
Exactly.
For real. They could just unfollow, man. You
Yeah.
know, go their own path. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was your first like musical act? What was your first experience actually making music?
So I went through a heartbreak. Actually, I went through a heartbreak, and like when I went through that heartbreak, I was like, you know, I it's time to follow my passion, you know, because I gave life my hardest, you know. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it. Now it's time to. I was like, maybe this is God giving me a sign to like go follow your dreams, you know.
Right.
So I went and booked a studio session. I never wrote a song in my life. Never.
Damn,
You just pulled up?
straight up.
I was just like, I'm heartbroken right now. I gotta get on the mic, you know.
Yo.
You went the Adele route. You just went through heartbreak, went to the studio.
Exactly.
That's cool.
But yeah, I went to the studio, and as soon as I went in there, I had a little song, a little beat written down, and I went and I started singing a little bit in the thank God, like I send that mic. I don't know, shout out to send that mic, but he gave me a lot of confidence. I was in there, and he was just like, man, this guy has a good voice. You know, I see a lot of potential in him, and maybe I would have sucked at that time, but the reason like he said that to me, it kind of reassured me, like, okay, like maybe I do have something there where I can take this. So like, thank you. If Mike's watching this, thank you for him. Shout out to him for like,
shout out to Mike.
Yeah, shout out to Mike.
Yeah, that's cool.
For you know, giving me that heart to go in there. So
yeah, that's important though. You know, people along your journey that kind of reassure you, and like, you know, even though you're not at your best, they see that potential in you, and I think that's what really matters, right? It's like that potential that you could craft 100%. And build into like the final product.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And so like, let's talk about that journey. How long ago was that instance right there that you just talked about?
About 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay, was that here in Seattle?
That was here in Seattle.
Okay, so then let's back up a little bit. So you were living in the Bay Area. How did you get to Seattle?
So the only reason we moved to Seattle was because we wanted to open a restaurant.
Oh, and you saw an opportunity in like the market?
Exactly. I was only in high school at that time, but my dad used to tell me like go on Craigslist and like search if there's restaurants for sale, if there's like places for sale that we can just buy and get into. So we did. I finally found a place in Federal Way, Washington. Wow. And we just no experience. I had no experience of like, I didn't even know where the street was and who the people were crossing the street. I was just like, okay, if there's opportunity, there's no Afghan restaurants here, you know, let's just give it a shot. Let's see if we can we can do it. So my dad, literally, man, like we moved everything. Like we moved our whole life, everything we sold, like what we had there, and just completely took a whole different route. And we're like, you know, like I could see the fear in my dad's eyes, bro. When like, wow, we were like coming up here, because he's just like, shit, like I really just like,
I just straight up sold everything.
Exactly, like this better work, you know.
Yeah.
So like, but like I never knew where it would take us, man. You know, I never knew, because I had a lot of different. At that time in my life, I was more involved in like my friends circle, and then at that time, like looking at my dad's eyes and the fear he had, I knew that I had to grow up really quick. I knew that like, oh shit, this is time. Like I gotta buckle up and like get on my grind, you know.
Yeah.
So,
how old were you right there when that happened?
I was about 16 years old.
16. Wow, man. And so that's a big move. So it's just you, your dad. I mean, I'm just imagining y'all driving. You probably didn't drive, but I'm imagining y'all in the car. It's you, your dad. You're 16. Your dad. You see the fear in his eyes, and you see yourself kind of like, it's that crucial time in your life when like you're about to become a man. You know, you're making that transition from a boy to a man, and you need that, like, you need to step up to the plate. So that probably played a big role in like just your overall development.
Oh yeah, man.
So when y'all got here, how did that go?
Man, we were lost when we got here. First of all, like, so we rented the U-Haul. We had everything packed up in that U-Haul, and that's all we had. Like in that U-Haul, that's all we had. Luckily I have an aunt that lives here, so I came to see my aunt for a little bit, and we stayed here. And in that transition, like while we were coming here, like the emotions were running high, man. Like I was, like you said, man, it was that time to become a man, you know. As soon as we got here, I just knew, like my whole mentality changed. I wasn't the same person when I was in Cali. That 14-hour car ride completely changed me. Just like my dad went through a lot to make sure there's food on my table, make sure, you know, I have what I have to do. And at that time I knew like this is the moment where like I gotta put in work, and like I can't see my dad struggle for the rest of my life. I can't, you know. So I don't want to see him struggle, and I knew I had to do something. So
and so y'all opened up that restaurant in Federal Way?
We opened our first location ever in Federal Way, and we had like a banquet hall attached to it, which was like a We did like wedding receptions and stuff like that.
Oh,
So my dad's
gotcha.
mentality when we came here was like the California mentality. Over there, there's a lot of banquet halls down there. There's a lot of banquet halls and restaurants where they do really well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we had that restaurant, man. That restaurant failed really, really bad. And I'll tell you a crazy story. You know how I said like we were driving here and all the emotions were in high,
Yeah.
but all the life savings that we had, which was not a lot of money, we had probably around like $80,000 at the most life savings, and we spent all of that on the restaurant.
So y'all went all in.
We
like
went
this
all
was
in.
an all-in bet.
This was all in bet, and like
Pushing all the
we
chips.
we didn't have enough money to pay our rent for the next the rent for our apartment.
Oh wow.
So we went
So
all
that's
in.
really all in.
It was like if you talk about big business risks, man, this
Right.
is something that I saw firsthand at 16 years old.
Yeah, man.
It was like all or nothing, you know? Like
that's serious.
but the thing is, like, I'll tell you one thing. When we were in California, my dad was comfortable. We were comfortable, we weren't rich, we weren't balling, none of that, man. We were just, living our lives, man. We're normal people, man. I'm still a normal person. Nothing's
Right.
changed. Yeah,
Right.
man. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a journey, But it's
Yeah.
taught me like I do this music stuff. And a lot of people are like, oh, like, he's cocky, dude. He's like, like this, but like
right.
deep inside, I've been through so much in my life that like I can put myself in other people's shoes. Like I see a kid with nothing, and like it reminds me of myself when I was a kid, and like
yeah.
and like it's just like there's a lot of emotions involved in my life, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I see and I'm like, wow, like that was me. Or like, like the other day I was in Seattle and I saw there's a hot dog stand there, and like when my dad first came to America, that's what he did. And
He sold hot dogs?
That's what my dad, when he first came to America, he was selling hot dogs, but he worked for somebody.
Wow.
So like I kind of like I was pumping gas, and like I
Yeah.
kind of looked, and I saw this guy, and he was about my dad's age, and it kind
Yeah.
of like it was raining, and like I
Damn.
kind of just looked at him for like a good like 3-4 minutes, and it took my heart, bro, because I was like, damn, like that's what my dad did for me,
Yeah.
It's like almost
This
seeing
guy
your
was like
dad.
falling, moving the thing, and
Yeah.
kind of like things were falling from his cart, and like people were around him, a lot of people, and it was just
Trying to grind rain or shine, right?
rain or shine, and like
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
sometimes like just certain circumstances come in front of you and you're like, wow, like that's what like I did, that's what I lived,
Yeah.
you just become more thankful
Mhm.
and about your journey, man. But like, yeah, man, that restaurant that we had in Federal Way actually completely failed. Like we
Yeah.
completely lost everything. We had to like, we couldn't even sell the business. Like we completely were shut down. Well, people loved our food, but the only problem was like our rent was so expensive. We didn't do our research. We didn't do our research. So, but at that time, I knew I had
Potential.
We had potential.
Right.
We had potential.
So how do you recover from that? Because if you lost everything, I mean, the business failed. Like, how'd you pivot that into creating a new business, or how did your dad do that?
So we were in that business for about 18 years. I mean, 18 months. I'm sorry, 18 months. And in those 18 months, we learned valuable skills. I learned valuable skills. I learned a lot of things that like that helped me. But basically, this time around, remember the car ride I was talking about?
Yeah.
I thought it was all or nothing, right? But this time it was more, because when we lost the restaurant, I had to live. We had like I had to live with my aunt basically, and she didn't have she lived in a little small place, and like I had to live in the same room as my dad, and like my dad's foot was on my face,
Oh yeah.
I would never remember. Like I could never forget. I mean,
Like,
I love my
fuck,
dad,
man,
but I was
you
like,
washing your
fuck,
feet today?
he hit me in the face, man. Like, goddamn,
Yeah.
Wear a sock or something, bro.
yeah. So like going through like crazy experiences like that, man. But luckily, this is what I told my dad. I was like, Dad, like, I know we have something, we have a good product. Like, we can't just give up. Like, what are we gonna do? Sit in my house, live in my aunt's house the rest of we can't be doing this.
Right.
Dude, so while I was doing Running Start, and my dad probably doesn't know this, but I used to skip school and go look at restaurants that are not doing well. And I used to walk into them and be like, do you guys want to sell your restaurant? And we had nothing, dude. I had no money, nothing.
Right.
I just walk in there like, hey, do you guys want to like? I see you guys are like not that busy. Is there any buyers you guys want to sell? I have a buyer.
Right.
If you want to,
Yeah.
dude. Like within like 2-3 months, like skipping a lot of schools, fucking up my grades a little bit.
Right.
I finally found a place in Renton, and it was a pho restaurant. And when the day that I walked in, mother and son were fighting. Like they're the owners, but they were fighting, and I was like, okay, this is my perfect moment to go in.
perfect.
So I went in there and got their information.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, at that time they're probably looking at me like, who's this kid, you know, walking in here like acting like you know. But even when I was a kid, I knew I would carry myself a certain way,
Right.
you know, just professional and like do what I got to do just so I can pass, you know.
Yeah.
And I got the contact information, and little did I know, like they actually wanted to sell their place.
Oh wow.
So I told my dad, you know, he's like, I told him after school, I went down there and like, you know, I saw this place. So next thing we know, my dad actually like we contacted the owners, and we negotiated something with them, and my dad we borrowed a little bit of money to buy this place. And at that time, like my dad hates going into debt. My dad's not that person to go into debt, but he knew like he had no choice. And at that time, I knew, I was like, okay, this is the time. Our rent's not that much. I got to give it my all, and like this is what happened. So like we got the restaurant, man. It was successful, very successful for like 2 years, and the restaurant burned down.
Fuck.
No way.
That's
crazy.
My goodness.
wild.
Man. So everything was going well.
Everything was going well. We were actually
then
looking to buy our first house in Renton.
Gotcha.
You know, I was working like 7 days a week, man, struggling like literally like every single day. I was there every single day in the kitchen. You know, and then one night it was like 2 a.m. and I hear a knock on my apartment door, and my dad walks in. He's like, the restaurant caught on. Someone's calling me, the restaurant's on fire. Like my dad's kind of like, kind of waking up kind of sleepy, and I'm just waking up sleepy, and I'm just like, there's a restaurant's on fire. All right, let's go put it out then. Like
Yeah, like
I mean, that's what we thought. Okay, a little fire in the corner, we'll throw buckets at it, we'll put it out. The next thing I know, we live close to the restaurant though. So next thing I know, we walk into a restaurant and the thing is catching on. It's like on fire, bro.
Wow.
Damn, and you're like, there's no salvage in this.
Oh, this, you can't even go 100, like 10, 20 feet near that place because it was burning. You know, it was like a 5-alarm. It was like a huge one, man. Like there was like 3 different stations that were there.
Damn.
Right. Yeah, 5-alarm fire is like dead serious.
Yeah, it was all over the news. It was like King 5 News, and like the mayor of Renton came down.
Wow.
Man, like, you know, I was talking about seeing my dad scared driving from here to Cali, bro. I'd never seen my dad that scared ever in my life. That day was like the worst, because that day was like, bro, imagine like we're just about to like buy a house. We're about to just get established, you know, like okay, my dad can finally say like, okay, we did something, you know, and like, man, it was like, but at that time, man, even like those experiences that I went through, those Federal Way and everything like that. Yeah. If I didn't have that in Federal Way, if I didn't go through that shit, this thing would have like killed me.
Yeah.
Right.
This thing would have completely mentally killed me, you know? But I went through all that crap that like, I was like, they interviewed me and I was calm. I was like, you know what? We're okay.
You built some resilience.
With some resilience, you know? We had a lot of customers who had our backs, and like, I just felt a little bit more better. I wanted to calm my dad too. And like I didn't want to be all emotional and then have my dad see me, and I was like, no, I'm good. We got to move on from this. But that's how, you know, we ended up being in Bellevue, man. We had insurance, thankfully.
Okay,
so
good. I was about to ask that.
Like, we had insurance. So insurance took care of some stuff, but not everything, obviously. But within those times in Renton that we had some money saved. We were looking to buy our first home. Yeah. We didn't buy our first home though. What we did, we bought another restaurant.
You had to delay that to buy the restaurant.
Exactly. So we've been in Bellevue now, man, for about like 6 years now. 6 years. Yeah, and I just like, I thank God every day. I thank like all our customers. Like that place is just, you know, busy. Yeah. And like, I tell my dad all the time, I'm like, Dad, if we came straight from Cali to Bellevue, our restaurant would have had 1-star rating because we were not what we were doing. Right. So everything that we went through put us in this position.
Yeah. Man, that's such a powerful story, because isn't it funny how life works, right? Like you mentioned all these things. If you hadn't gone through the Federal Way situation, the Renton situation, 100%. You wouldn't have had the lessons learned and the resilience to, you know, pursue. Because I'm sure even in Bellevue, y'all probably hit some walls and had some situations where times were tough. But because of all these other worst, like you literally face the worst of the worst, right? So once you face the worst of the worst, everything else is kind of like, you know what? Exactly. It's not too bad. Exactly. So that's cool. That's a powerful story. And also, you know, you mentioned the story about how, you know, you saw the man selling the hot dogs and stuff. I think I wanted to mention it, but I think it's funny how life does that, right? Like it throws little hints at you to like remind you, like,
this is where
you know, like this is where you came from, like out of nowhere, right? Like 100%. You were just driving down the street, maybe walking down the street, and then it's like, dang, you just have moments of self-reflection like that. Oh, so powerful.
It was like exactly what you said. Like, I love what you said, man. Like, I felt like almost guilty, bro. Because, like, I'm over here pumping, and, like, I have a nice car, pumping gas in my car, and I see this guy, you know, I'm like, but, like, that's my dad. I was like, my dad, you know? And I'm over here, like, man, our parents go through so much shit for us to live good, you know?
Seriously. And we don't even see an ounce of that.
Exactly. Like every parent, like just because your parents is not buying you what you want right now or this, man, they're taking care of you. Their heart's there for you. They're putting food on the table. That's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything.
No, for real. That's so powerful. And so now y'all are actually moving on to opening up a second location.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've always wanted to open my own restaurant. Yeah. I kind of, after like seeing all the customers and people, man, I was like, man, I love people. Like I kind of want to do this, but I want to do it in a way where my dad struggled with it physically.
Right.
Always there, always doing this, always there. So I kind of want to pave a way of making it to where like he's not there as much and I'm not there as much. One guy once told me, I don't even remember his name, man, but he told me one thing. He's like, Tobi, like when you have one restaurant, you're always gonna be there. But the moment you have 2, 3, 4, you're never gonna be there. And that kind of like hit me,
Right.
And like obviously it's not about I don't want to be there because I do it as passion, But I also want to be able to live my life accordingly and do things the way I want. Because the restaurant industry is tough, man. You're always gonna be there.
Yeah, and I can imagine how difficult it is to not remain tethered in that location because, I mean, it's literally your baby. It's everything. I mean, you just talked about how your dad put all of his life savings into a restaurant.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just good for you. I mean, congratulations on the second restaurant.
I appreciate you, man.
Because that's a huge, I mean, just based off of what you told us, going from one restaurant that failed and then the second one that succeeded and burned down. I mean, this is huge for you. So
I really appreciate it. There's a lot of work that gets put into it. Right. The Ken location is going to be a little bit bigger, but it's cheaper rent down there, so it's a little bit to work out. Hopefully, I can find employees and stuff and get it started.
Is it like the second restaurant to the Bellevue one, or is this going to be completely different?
So actually, the crazy story is that like I completely hid this. I hid this restaurant from my dad for a week.
Oh, really?
So when I was looking for restaurants, I completely hid it because I don't know how my dad's a little bit old school. He doesn't know about expanding and doing this. Right. So my dad's like, what the hell are you going to do with this, So like I was hiding it from him and I didn't want to tell him. Because I had the anxiety. I was like, man, that's going to kill me. He's going to put me so much mental stress on me that I'm not going to. So I had to hide it from him. But after a week, I got stuck with something where like the corporations were like, okay, well, this first entity is not under Tobi though. So why are you trying to steal his name? So I had to completely like tell him. I was like, okay, Dad, like we're gonna have to combine two LLC, like two corporations together right now. Right. So I needed his approval to take Afghan Cuisine. So to answer your question, I just wanted to like expand and like make a second branch. Yeah, basically. So that's what we did. So.
That's what's up. Yeah. I actually want to pivot to your music now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these are two completely different things, but, you're killing it on both areas. So I really want to tap into that. This is your profile, your Instagram profile here, so people could follow you there. I want to pronounce, is that your last name there?
Yeah, Ibrahimi.
Okay, Tobi Ibrahimi on Instagram. And first off, there's a lot of stuff we could look at here, but I just want to check out your studio. This is your home studio, right?
Caught my eye.
Yeah, this is my downtown apartment.
Yeah, so this is I think this is pretty dope. We were just talking about it before, like how it's so important to have like a good vibe, before you record. I feel like just looking at it, I feel like that's the place to do it. If you could go to the last picture, I think there was a picture of, I think it's the new location, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one is it? Is
it not that one? Are you talking about
right?
This one?
I think the third.
Oh, this one right here.
Yep. This is going to be the location of what's going to be the Kent.
Yes.
Restaurant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I haven't got the sign up yet.
Yeah, that's dope. It looks like a nice little corner lot right there, though. That's what's up. Can we go back to the
man, 2010. Seen 2010 on there. Such a long time.
It feels like such a long time, man.
So you're pretty active on social media, it looks like. So people could follow you on here. But could we switch over to the YouTube? I want to play that video. Actually, I think you might have had it open already.
Yeah,
Destiny.
I just want to point out this has 700 and can't read that small.
Yeah, 700 plus K, 755 K. Yeah, so it's doing numbers on YouTube, and I think very well deserved numbers as well. You dropped this in 2020, So it's been up for about a year now. Really great production too, by the way.
Yeah,
This is
shout out to
Destiny
Mitch
by
for that.
Tobi.
Oh yeah. The production on this is fucking top notch, bro.
Where'd y'all record this?
So a lot of my boys are like they're real estate agents. So like they both got a house, you know, it's back on the market. So
Hell
trying to
yeah.
come through.
Oh, gotcha.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Costume for that one.
That's a mad nice house too. I was about to say.
Seriously.
Goes hard, man. What's who are some of your musical inspirations? Like when you know, who do you take like inspiration from when you write your music?
Myself, I'm just messing with you. I was gonna say, man, you're probably gonna say yourself.
I'm my own inspiration.
Yeah. Everybody says that though.
No, man. Honestly, I listen to all types of music. I
Okay.
don't judge. I'm very open, you know. But
Yeah.
like the main, you know, of course, there's Drake.
Oh,
know?
yeah,
Drake is my
man.
guy. I listen to a lot of like Drake, a lot of like 88 glam, a lot of like new trap types of music, a lot of like M Honcho. I don't know if you guys know who M Honcho is, but
I don't personally.
okay, he's the guy with the mask. You guys should just research him. I love his music.
M Huncho. Is it spelled just like how it sounds? Huncho?
Mhm. M Honcho. He's from the UK though.
I'll have to check him out. Okay, UK
Yeah.
artist.
And then I listen to a lot of like what's his name? A lot of Tobi.
Yo.
I'm just messing with you.
Like, yeah, I be bumping Tobi straight, bro.
I was like,
Yeah, man, it's just like Drake is one of my biggest M Honcho, 88 glam. You know, there's I just can't. There's so much on top of my head. I just can't name right now.
yeah.
But everybody, man. Even Nickelback. Even Nickelback is
Okay,
one of my guys. You know?
Yeah, you're not. So you're not just confined to like the rap genre. Like,
No.
gotcha.
No.
Just kind of like overall like good vibes type
Yep.
music.
That Bad Times video, man. I thought that one was really dope too.
Yeah, we'll
It's like
flip over to it.
I actually want to talk a little bit about the videos too. So like, what's your inspiration when it comes to videos? Do you work with your camera guy? Do you have a vision, or do you kind of let them like direct it fully and you just kind of do your thing on the rap side?
Luckily, I've been aligned with like good directors where
Right.
like they look at me and they're like, okay, I kind of know what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know. But basically, like, there's a big in Europe right now, in Germany, there's a big hip hop influence from like a lot of people that look like me, and they're wearing like these Adidas tracksuits,
Right,
yeah.
this Russian type vibe,
That
mobster vibe,
Eastern European vibe,
Exactly.
right?
It's
Yeah.
very common.
So like, I saw like the U.S. lacks that, America lacks that, and there's a lot of like. In Germany, a lot of like the new refugees that are coming in, and they're all like supporting this. Man, you go to concerts and they're like filled with like 20,000, 30,000 people, just, you know. And the guy was like basically born here, raised here, but then like he still kept like part of his culture,
Right.
you know. But then there's a lot of refugees coming, so it's like an unseen market
That's
that I'm trying to
hard.
tap into. That like a lot of people don't understand, but I'm trying to make people understand and like trying to bring that influence out there.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. That provides more context too to your music and like kind of like the movement and where you're trying to take it. Which
Exactly.
leads to my next question: like, what are your next moves?
Yeah.
You know, do you have anything to like plug, like albums coming through, concerts, or performances? I should say.
Yeah, man. Right now, I'm really working on my sound right now. Like I have a couple of releases, but I'm a type of person where I'm a perfectionist, man. Like I have songs that like everyone's like just release them, and I'm like, no, man. Like I wake up the next day and I'm like, I don't think it's good enough. So right now I'm really just working on like creating my actual sound.
Right.
So I really want to like build that, and I actually have a couple of releases coming up. Like I have one on November 12th.
November
It's
12th.
called Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio, so like
Oh, I hear you.
I have a song coming out for that, and
We'll plug that link. By the time this episode comes out, it would be past that, but we'll plug that link in the
Appreciate that.
description. Yeah.
appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
You guys need to come check out this. I know you guys probably spit some bars in my studio. I have a nice set.
Hey,
You guys
for
can come
sure,
through, man.
for
We'll make
sure.
a-
Hey, bro.
Yeah, man. No, and we
she's
actually.
pointing at you, man. She said,
I do. I draw bars for
So,
fun. Sometimes.
let's
go.
I'll be freestyling.
Max
sometimes.
has a history with rap.
I used to rap. A little bit. Yeah, man.
what's up,
but,
man.
Actually, you know, it's
You
the
look like a
Christmas
rapper. That's
special.
why
I look like a
asked,
rapper.
you know?
I thought you thought he looked like a rapper. Man.
No way.
Chris on the beat. His name is Vegas too. His nickname's Vegas, so that's already a rapper name. He's already like halfway there.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
All right, Toby. So we actually have like a little surprise for you, man. Being that it's your birthday on the day that we're recording this, and also being that this is the Christmas special, where my hat just doesn't want to work with us. We actually got you a gift.
I appreciate you guys. You didn't have to do that.
No, of course. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, feel free to open it.
Yeah, man. Open it up and
I love gifts.
So the hoodies from my brand Dripped. It stands for Don't Relent Your Pursuit Today. It's also a sponsor of this channel. But that's our new midnight hoodie.
it's actually not even released to the public yet. He just got him today, like
unreleased.
the
It
guy
will
got
be
him
when this episode drops, but make
Thank
sure
you.
to check it out. Drip.com.
so y'all can buy one too.
Yeah, you guys should drop that link on here so people can.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
we're
sure.
gonna drop it.
And we
I
also
love this.
we also got you like just a little notebook in there. I mean, I don't know if you like to write your rhymes, but if anything, it could look like good as an aesthetic.
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
Dope rhymes.
Dope rhymes.
Yes,
baby.
sir.
I love it. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys don't have to do that.
Yeah, no, man. We appreciate you coming through on your birthday. You know, that's a very special day, and for you to come through and share it with us, you know, we're really appreciative.
I appreciate you guys,
especially
man.
your story too. So powerful, man. And yeah, thank you for coming through.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Toby. Thanks for sharing your story. I know a lot of people are gonna, you know, take inspiration and just kind of reflect on their own story by hearing yours. So thank you. And we also just want to thank, you know, everybody out there who listened and tuned in today. Make sure y'all subscribe, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and like us on Facebook, and catch us next time.